So the next pick, this is coming in with 27 points, voted on by every single one of us. It's really funny because we're going right back to the same draft. We're just going to go higher in the draft to the number 2 pick. It is Hashim Thabit coming in from the Grizzlies. I will say this of why he was on mine because with my worst, I also tried to say, like, I didn't understand the pick. Hashim Thabit did come in with a lot of, like, he was a very good defender. UConn did pretty well. What did they go? They went pretty far this year.
Yeah, they did pretty well with him.
Yeah,
So
they
what,
went.
Elite Eight maybe?
They had to take him out a lot of games. Like, I watched UConn, especially because, for those who don't know, I used to live in Connecticut. I have a lot of friends who have several friends who went to the university growing up with UConn. I'd watched it. Question was, late in games, you had to constantly take them out. Like, if I'm putting my franchise, if I'm putting you with a top pick and I can't even play you late in games in college, that's a huge question mark. And he had a lot of questions about his motor in college. That's why I was like very skeptical about taking him this high.
For his career, he averaged like what, 2 points a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so limited in college. I just didn't think at number 2 you take a player who can only play half the game. So he's obviously going to be very good defensively. He's huge, or he's tall.
He was not good defensively in the NBA. Like,
no, but I mean, you can see that the thought would be there because he was tall.
Yeah. I can see why you drafted him because you thought he'd be great at defense, but
I just think at number 2, I'm not going to pick a player who can't play one half of the game.
Okay, so another thing was should it be? He wasn't the best in college, so basically it was like, the potential of drafting him, you could mold him into this great player, and that just never happened.
That's something you take at pick 16.
Yeah. I need to see that one. If I'm going top 4, I need to see it.
You can't do a potential pick top 5. It's just not worth the risk.
No.
Again, I can send my franchise back because it's like top 2. NBA's a lottery system. I don't know if I'm going to get another top 2 pick. It also does not help with the fact right after that was James Harden, who did well. Tyreke Evans, who was the rookie of the year, he had a really good first couple seasons. Luckily, there weren't a lot of big man options, but I still think there was just too much question marks there.
It doesn't matter. I mean, how long did Thabit play? Like 3 years?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years at most.
And it was pretty quickly they realized, oh crap, this dude's shape is...
Yeah, he got sent down to the D League.
He was like the highest pick until
someone maybe lay on this list.
He was like the highest pick to make the D League.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you can't deal with the speed in the college game, how are you dealing with it in the NBA game? Because that's a much faster, and these are grown men. You're like, that's a whole different level of speed. Like you're playing 82 games. This is a whole different level.
Yeah, that was a pick for the wrong era.
I mean, if you wanted to go with him, I would have probably tried and I would have thought about trade the pick, trade down. No. Yeah. And then go later, get some more stuff so I can pick a little more, but that's just me. All right. Our next pick coming at number 4, 29 points. Everybody but one person didn't vote for him. I'm pretty sure this person must have forgot about them. And another person ranked this player so low. I do not understand how this person's not higher on their list, because this is why they're probably not in the top 2 picks. This was another one from a more recent draft, came in with a lot of hype. A lot of people talked about this person's athleticism, but there were question marks that we even said multiple times. It is the number 1 overall pick by the 76ers. It is Markelle.
Bro, this should be so much higher. This should be
I didn't vote for him.
Bobby didn't put him. D3 didn't put him, and the Mountain put him at 10.
Number 1 for me.
I completely forgot about
This also was compounded by the fact that Boston traded with the Sixers. The Sixers traded up, and Boston was never going to take Markelle Fultz. They've said everything out there said they would not take a Markelle Fultz. I don't even think the Lakers would either, because I think they were fully on Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
so they're fully on Lonzo.
The Sixers essentially trade up for nothing because they could have had him at pick 3, and Boston at pick 3 got the man they wanted the whole time, and it's the person that the Sixers should have picked, and we were all saying it in the get-go.
Yeah, because Markelle Fultz, even in college, his team only won 9 games. You can't be this great star and have your team win 9 games.
Especially
Well,
he played out in the pack. Like it ain't like you're playing a bunch of juggernauts basketball wise. You play UCLA's good, Arizona's good, and like you ain't playing a lot of like. Come on.
I know he's playing better now, but the thought process for the Sixers, this whole
and the most
here is just
confusing
terrible.
thing was he was a great 3-point shooter in college, and I saw somebody like he had like some rare muscle thing in his shoulder, so he couldn't shoot anymore.
Yeah, he had to change his shooting style.
And so he went from a great shooter to like maybe an average one now. So that really hurt his stock.
Yeah, I never understood why he was so hyped. To me, at the end of the season, at the end of NCAA season, it just seemed like Jason Tatum was far and away the best player.
Also, if you're gonna do point guard, I would have picked this dude over Alonzo Ball as well. I was hyping up De'Aaron Fox the whole time, and that would have been a much better pick for the Sixers. Can you imagine De'Aaron Fox with Joel Embiid?
That would have been very good. And the sad thing is with the Sixers, especially at that time when they were really pushing that narrative of the rebuild, trust the process, you would have had early Simmons, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum.
Yep.
That would have been, good Lord, like that would have been a combo to put together. You really would have been set. And the process would have probably worked.
That was a decision from the Sixers that is costing them to this very day.
Yeah.
No.
Can you imagine them? They've had multiple number one overall picks. None of them turned out to be good long term.
Yeah, so most of the high picks were not the one. He had one of them.
Just let you know, people, that you make a bad decision, they could last a long time.
And, mind you, that dude also is the guy who eliminated them with 50 points. You remember, you could have had him.
Yeah. They're not doing well this current series, but I think Boston with Tatum has eliminated Sixers 3 times in the playoffs.
Yeah, you think about what could have been.
Yeah, maybe Benson's basketball mentality would have been different.
Probably not.
Probably not. But,
I
I mean, at that point, they really wouldn't have relied on him with scoring because you would have had Tatum and Embiid. It's just pass the ball. All right, we're going to go into our number 3 overall, coming in with 34 points, was voted on by every single person. It was another college player that played well, but we all knew this game is not going to translate. He just didn't have it. It is going back to 2006, the 3rd pick overall, Adam Morrison.
Okay, first of all you have to do is take one look at the man and see this man is not fit for the NBA.
Exactly. It blows my mind. This was like the beginning of a stack of epic pile of failure that is Michael Jordan as the Hornets owner.
Yeah, this is when we were like, uh-oh. I know you can't always go by looks, but I mean, come on. I'll put a picture of Adam Morrison up here and look at this dude. Come on. And what was the projection for Adam Morrison? How good did people think he was actually going to be? Like, would people think it was going to be Larry Bird? Hell no. I don't know what the draft comp at the time was, but didn't see it being worth that pick. I don't even remember if he was taken around him. I don't need to remember.
I just taken around them. Tyrus, the report was Marcus Aldridge, but after it was Tyrus Thomas and Sheldon Williams. Sheldon Williams would have been another bad pick. But then you have Brandon Roy, Randy Foye, Rudy Gay. So those are good options.
I would have gone Rudy Gay.
Yeah, I was pretty high on Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay, who had a better career, and like Rudy Gay at least produced offensively. Adam Morrison was like we talked about with Kaminsky. He peaked in college. Like I didn't see him getting any better.
No, and he played at freaking Gonzaga.
Yeah.
The fact that people I could not believe that people were saying he was a top 3 pick like that year because I did not see it whatsoever.
I remember we were reading the reports that the Hornets might be interested in him. We're like, oh, come on, dude. We're like, no, it's not going to work.
And we were right.
Yep.
Typical Bobcat move.
Oh, they could have even gone all the way to number 11, got JJ Redick, and that would still been the better pick.
Yep.
At least I knew JJ Redick was going to be a spot-up shooter. Like, I knew what he was. Yeah, one of the dumbest picks. And I forgot till I researched how high he went. Yeah. Like, I thought he went lower for some reason. I thought it was like 7 or 8. Because I'm like, surely everybody would have questioned it more. No, 3. Third pick, really.
I cannot believe this dude gets up every morning, looks up at himself in the mirror, and thinks he can get away with that mustache. Shave that shit, okay?
He can say he ended his career a 2-time champion.
Yeah, he just had 2 chips.
Come on now.
He didn't even play in one of those playoffs, and then the other one he played in 2 games and averaged 4 points. Don't say he didn't contribute.
All right, we're going to go with some honorable mentions that was voted on by D3. This person had pretty impressive college career. It is from 2012, the 5th pick overall, Thomas Robinson. kind of disappointed in his career. I thought he would have been better.
I thought so.
We just look at what he could have been. I forget who was shortly after him, but there was some good players that the Kings could have drafted. I'm trying to see who else was available. I'm pretty sure there were some really good players that still were.
I can't be too harsh on him. I thought he was going to be an absolute stud.
Right, Damian Lillard. Was
the next pick was Dame. That was measured. You could have got Dame. Harrison Barnes would have been better. Andre Drummond would have been better.
I know. I didn't put it on mine because I was absolutely full too. So
same. I thought
because Dame was the next player. I'm like, you could have had.
I didn't know much about Dame. I didn't watch much of Weber State.
I thought we put Dion Waiters on the list too. Both of them were highly considered. But Dion Waiters, my problem was he was a sixth man in college. And how often did they turn out to become stars in the NBA?
Very questionable.
This is unfortunate. He had the NBA bod, just not the NBA skills.
We're going to go to another one of these picks. It is 2011's third pick overall. It is Enes Kanter.
Good offensive player, just can't play defense to save his life.
I had him on my list. Just like
yeah.
If you look at the people drafted around him, I know because he didn't even play in college, but all the hype, there was nothing like. You had to rely on your old tape, whatever, and then stuff in practice. But you should give me Tristan Thompson would have been a better pick. Valanciunas, not Vesely, he was terrible. But I mean, even Brandon Knight, Kemba Walker were better picks. So, and he's a third overall. So, third overall pick, he was supposed to be better.
He's a very good offensive player, but like I said, I think he's one of the worst big man defensive players I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he was terrible.
And his name is Enes Freedom now, I believe. Thank you.
Enes Freedom.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Mm-hmm.
He was drafted. He was in his
bad. He had to change his name.
Yeah.
If he was better, then I would change his name, but I'm gonna keep it.
Also, another one that was very questionable. Granted, they're lucky. I would have considered, but he was kind of lower. 10 pick Jimmer for that. I didn't think he was going to be.
If he was higher,
a lot of people were. Yeah, I remember people were trying to hype it. Oh, he could shoot. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I heard the biggest thing wasn't even his ability, his attitude.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see it with this guy. Though a China legend, I believe, in China.
Yeah, China legend.
He's killing it. He's like 40 points or something.
I think he thought he should have been the alpha of the team as rookie year or something. So no.
Okay, bro.
Yep, because Klay Thompson was picked right after him. Kawhi Leonard was later, a couple picks later. And that was hard to see, but Klay Thompson just did, I think, what he did, but could play defense.
He was what Jimmer was supposed to be.
Yeah, pretty much. Do another one because we'll kind of keep on that draft because I saw this guy, Jan Vesely.
I mean,
I think I voted for him. I just remember his post-draft thing is that he said Blake Griffin is the American version of Jan Vesely. I was like, the gall of this man to say that.
The gumption.
That's not Vesely's fault though.
He said it himself.
Oh wait, no, Vesely said it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Put him on the list.
Yep, that deserves it. That deserves it right there.
He knows what he's capable of. He knows damn well he's not capable of that.
Bro, I remember watching Wizards games and he was just so awful.
Oh, you tell me he didn't like Blake Griffin out there? No, he liked Blake Griffin now.
He meant later Blake Griffin. That's where he got you. He never said which version of Blake Griffin. He just said Blake.
He got you on a technicality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I should have asked a follow-up question.
We're going to go back to our top two picks. Our second pick voted on coming in with 35 points. This person probably gets number one if the draft was better. They would have probably gotten number one, but got blessed with the fact their draft sucked. Arguably one of the worst drafts ever in NBA history comparing to the 2000 draft. I think the only thing was saving is a couple, two players kind of were saving it. It is 2013 number one pick, Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, you had your pick of everybody in the draft, and you pick someone who flames out within 3 seasons, I think, 2 or 3 seasons.
Within the first 10 games, he flamed out.
It was just an epically bad pick. And again, I mean, like you said, the draft wasn't that good, but the very next pick was Victor Oladipo, and he's sure of a hell of a lot better than Anthony Bennett.
And before injuries, he was really good on the Pacers. Are really good on Pacers.
Hell, they could have taken Cody Zeller and it would have been a better pick. That's how bad Anthony Bennett is.
Pretty much almost taking anyone else and it would have been a better pick.
Yeah. Also, because I thought Nerlens Noel was one that we're hyping up at that point.
That would have been a better pick, sadly.
I'm there too. I thought it was a stupid pick. I didn't like Anthony Bennett coming out of college. He was undersized, wasn't a great shooter. Didn't really show me anything in the games that I saw at UNLV.
People did hype him up in college, and every time I watched him, I was expecting him to be better.
I'm like, once you play some bigger people that are like bigger than you, I don't see what you don't. I'm not seeing this game translating. No, I won't really destroy him because again, Giannis is the thing that's the same in this draft that nobody really saw Giannis coming. But I would have gone Victor Oladipo. Cleveland, be happy that you got LeBron back and you got another first round pick because this really would have killed your franchise.
This could have set them back a lot, but LeBron decided to come back and bless them.
He got traded with the next year. How many number 1 picks get traded 1 year after they get drafted?
Yeah. Seriously, they will do anything.
Like they instantly, I bet you in training camp, the coaches were like, shit.
This is bad.
I think there was a player interview. He told me the first practice he had Anthony Bennett. He knew he was the wrong pick.
Pretty hard to do.
Well, it's just, you pick the number 1 pick and he flames out immediately. It's just laughably.
They had to send him to the G League. The first time ever the number 1 pick had to go there.
Like, how embarrassing is that you feel as a franchise? You're like, we were bad for absolutely no reason.
It was the last time I didn't watch an NBA draft. And I remember the next day when I looked at the results, I'm like, no way he went number 1.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch this at all. Usually I'll tune in. This year I was like, no, I can't really.
I thought he would go to the Hornets at 4. I honestly thought that's where he would gone.
Yeah, I was actually hoping for that. So I was wrong
I do think he would have turned out better because I did see an interview where he said the number 1 pick, the pressure got to him. I was like, maybe it was number 4 wouldn't have been as bad, but I think he still would have been a bust no matter what.
Yeah.
You never know.
All right, so this goes to our number 1 pick. Overwhelmingly, 4 out of the 5 of us voted this person number 1, coming in with 47 points. This person, again, is destroyed because he came in with arguably greatest draft class. People often compare this to the 85. I think it was the 85 with Jordan. Whichever one Jordan came in. Does not help the 3 people behind him were all Hall of Famers. It is 2003's 2nd pick overall, Darko Milicic.
If it wasn't for a generational talent and LeBron, in most years he probably would have went number 1, especially around that time. Like you said, just all the talent they passed up.
He was also one of the starts of European players getting drafted way too high.
This pick would have haunted the Pistons more if they had not won the title. Contended number 1, and but at least they got 1.
But he had nothing. He had really nothing to do with it.
No, he didn't do anything. But at least you could say that time wasn't a failure for the Pistons because they were at least.
They had like Carmelo or Dwayne Wade or Bosh. They could have kept. Might won multiple championships.
Because these guys all destroyed that dynasty afterwards. LeBron and Dwayne Wade helped to destroy that dynasty. And it's like, now think about it. Man, if you picked one of these guys, you could have kept it going. Who knows how many more you could have probably won. Heck, you might have won the next year with the Spurs. You could have beat the Spurs. They went to Game 7 with the Spurs. You have one of these other guys. You probably beat them.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I can see why the Pistons wouldn't have drafted a shooting guard because you do have players like Rip, but
if you want a big man, get Bosh.
Carmelo should have been the choice. I thought.
I think for the Pistons, Carmelo should have been the pick.
Yeah, Carmelo should have been.
Because he was coming in with a lot of hype. He just won the national championship.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But you could have had the other players around Melo to do the defense, and Melo be the scoring.
Yeah, pretty much. So they talk about this, and this was also what kind of affected it for me. So they talked about this once I watched this documentary, I believe, about this draft and why he was selected. Carmelo actually. So who was it? Joe Dumars was the GM, I believe. Or president, one of those positions. They actually were going to Carmelo, but they saw Darko Milicic workout was kind of what ended up edging them out and picking him. And actually, it's funny as well because the Miami Heat were thinking of Chris Kaman instead of Dwayne Wade.
Ew.
But what happened was they asked his trainer, Dwayne Wade was using the same trainer as Michael Jordan, and they said, hey, out of these guys, after these couple, who has the best potential? And the guy said, if we're going off of straight potential, Dwayne Wade has some of the best potential in this draft. And that's what made him choose him. Dwayne Wade is arguably one of the top 5 shooting guards, top 50 player of all time. Chris Bosh is a top 75 player of all time. Carmelo Anthony, one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. top 75 to 100 player.
I'll say top 50. I'll give him top 50.
I was being nice because some people really kill him, but yes, these guys who all had pretty good careers, all Hall of like 3 straight Hall of Famers drafted.
And no doubt Hall of Famers.
Really, like I don't know how you really come after that.
They're not like borderline Hall of Famers. They're no doubt they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I mean,
first
Boss is
ballot
already
right
in
in. First ballot right in there. Not even a question. Like it's like
you had 3 more choices for Hall of Famers, and you picked the one guy who I think he played a fair amount of years, but nothing more than a bench guy.
And it just sticks out like a sore thumb when you see names Braun, Carmelo, Bosch, Wade.
Yeah, you're like, look at this historic 2003 draft minus Darko.
Yeah, but one of these guys does not fit. You really can't write this stuff sometimes in the NBA. And you know what the best part of this is? Thank God for LeBron, like you guys said, because imagine if this was Cleveland that made the Darko milk. Like, what more of a Cleveland thing could they have done at this point? You know, thank you.
I mean, Cleveland would be like, boy, the Charlotte Hornets. That's how bad they'd be. But now, because of him and other European players around this time, even to this day, if I was a GM, I would just pass on every highly touted European player because I just believe in my head, because of all this abuse they've given us over the years, that they're going to fail more often than not.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our list. What did you think of our list? Did you agree with our list? Did you not? Are there some people that you thought we should have put on? Let us know. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you to all of you all who have been commenting, who have been out there supporting us during this time. Thank you to some of you guys who have commented. Tim Curry fan, Cecilia Mackey, Victor Johnson, Mike Jeffrey, Colt Dagger, Brian Myers. Thank you all for you guys who have commented. So thank you all. My name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Jay.
And may the discussions begin. Till next time.